What is up, guys, and welcome to my channel. So this summer I'm going to be demonstrating 10 different ways that you can exercise to reduce stress, and the first one up today is yoga. So yoga is primarily known to promote relaxation and is actually shown to decrease the secretion of cortisol, which is actually your primary stress hormone. So obviously, being a full-time student, I deal with stress on a day-to-day basis. I also suffer from anxiety. And I often hold a lot of tension in my neck, my shoulders, my hips, and my lower back. And some of the poses that I'm going to be showing you today is how to relieve some of those tension points. So in yoga, your breath control is really important. So you really want to focus on having a 1-to-1 breath ratio. And what that means is you're going to inhale through your mouth for X amount of seconds, let's say 2, and then you're going to exhale through your mouth for those 2 seconds. And that'll really help you keep your breathing in check, and you can really focus on it. So a typical yoga session, depending on where you go, is going to range about 45 minutes. But if you make your own, you can really make it as long or short as you want. The one I'll be showing you later is a shorter yoga flow session that's really going to highlight certain poses that are going to relieve those tension points that I talked about earlier, which was my neck, my shoulders, my hips, and my lower back. So without further ado, let's get into the yoga. Hi everyone, we are going to start with a seated position with soft hands resting on our knees. We're going to take a couple of breaths here. Remember that 1-to-1 breath ratio. We're going to inhale through our nose for 2 seconds, exhale through our mouth for 2 seconds. Now we're going to transition into child's pose. We want to sit back on our heels, stretch your arms out in front of us. You can let your head rest on your mat. This pose is wonderful for stretching the low back and helps relieve any tension that might be held in the neck or shoulders. Now we're going to move into cat-cow. On our inhale, we're going to arch our back while looking up at the sky. Exhale, we're going to round our spine and look at the ground. This is also a great pose that helps with tension held in your neck and shoulders. Now walk your hands to the top of the mat. Keep your hips over your knees and drop your chest to the ground. This will be puppy pose. Now you can walk your hands a little bit closer to you, and we're going to lift our hips into downward facing dog. It's a full body stretch, really helps relieve a lot of tension held in your back. You really want to let your heels sink into the ground. Take a moment to stretch your calves out a little bit. We're going to go into somewhat of a plank position, what's called chaturanga, up to upward dog. And then we're going to repeat this process again of downward dog, into chaturanga, to upward dog. This is really the flow section. And we'll move back to downward dog. Take our right leg, reach it up, and put it all the way to the front of the mat. This will be our high lunge. So let your hips sink into the ground a little bit. Open your chest and lean back. Get a nice good stretch. Drop our back knee and our toes and really arch the back. This pose really helps release tension in your hip flexors. Once we're ready, we're going to move back to downward dog and switch legs. Taking that left leg and swinging it all the way to the front of our mat, back into our high lunge. Then your hips sink in, arching our back, opening our chest. And let your gaze go to the ceiling. Drop that back knee and toes. Really, you can stretch out the quads here too, along with your hip flexors. Back to our downward dog. To chaturanga. To upward dog. Really want to push your shoulder blades together, get a nice good stretch. Chaturanga again to upward dog. Now we're going to move into our seated forward fold. So inhale and then reach for your toes. You can't go to your toes. You can just let your hands rest on your shins. Just make sure you're feeling a nice good stretch. This pose really helps relieve tension that might be held in your lower back and can help reduce blood pressure. I'm just going to my right side. And then moving to the left side. Now we're going to hug our knees to our chest. Feel free, rock side to side, move around. And then we're going to go into happy baby pose, grabbing the inner parts of your foot and still rocking side to side. Moving around, stretch out your back a little bit. Once again, hugging your knees to your chest. We're going to go into our last pose, which is Shavasana, or also known as corpse pose. We're going to have our palms facing up, legs stretched out in front of you. This pose really puts the body at ease and emphasizes total relaxation and helps slow your breathing, helps lower blood pressure, and really quiets the nervous system. So here, just take a couple of breaths. Once you have that awareness back in your body, we're going to end with our seated position with our hands at our knees again for a breath or two. And then we'll end by putting our hands at our center of our chest in prayer position. And you'll end by saying namaste. Alright guys, that concludes our video for today. Please like and subscribe and tune in next week where we continue to exercise the stress away.